Hello, everyone. Um, so I just watched a pretty terrible Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Typical WWE botching a whole show. So I figured I would take the time to make a video, and I will say the WWE Network is pretty good as far as what's on it. They have a lot of stuff. So I watch it a lot. I mean, I always watch the old stuff. Um, but I figured I'd make a video kind of showing my top 5 picks of the best pay-per-views on the network. Just for general idea, if anybody's watching the network and maybe they're new to it and they don't know what to watch and they don't like the new stuff and they want to watch some of the good stuff. So I'm just gonna, go through and pick 5 pay-per-views and that are my favorite, that I think are really good shows, and hopefully I get some people to not watch the new stuff. So got to start with the obvious choice here: WrestleMania 3, March 29th, 1987. Um, Obviously, this show is very popular for the crowd size. 93,000 was the count. The whole show is just really good. I mean, you know the way that they just had everything set up, the way that all the matches were. The whole show is just really good. I mean, and not only that, back in these days, it's kind of, I'm just kind of scrolling through the matches here. I don't, another side note, I'm just doing this off my phone. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not, um, I'm not someone who goes out and buys video cameras and does all this editing. I don't care about that. I'm not looking to be a YouTuber. I'm just making these videos in my spare time just for some fun. So, um, I don't, my videos aren't edited. I don't have the time, or really, I don't want to spend that kind of money. So just if anyone's wondering, all this is just off my phone. It's not a big deal. I try and do the best job that I can. But so yeah, WrestleMania 3, very good show. I mean, start to finish, the whole show was, everything made sense. In my opinion, everything made sense. Obviously, this was at a much different time where Vince McMahon really, he kind of cared a lot more about what was going on, as opposed to right now, where he just does anything he wants and just keeps losing fans. But that's a story for another time. But yeah, I mean, it's a very good show. The crowd is really into it. Every match, the crowd is into it. The best part about wrestling in these days was, it was so, like, everything just made sense. Everything, like, good guys were good guys, bad guys were bad guys. It wasn't like today where, one week the fans like some random person for a couple weeks, and then they pick someone else, or then they're into someone else after that. Like, it's not like that. Back in these days, all the good guys the fans loved, all the bad guys the fans didn't like, and that's how it stayed. Um, but Everything in the 80s was better, not just wrestling, but everything. So that doesn't surprise me. But um, I will say some of the matches here that do stand out, um, as far as like really good wrestling. This match is good. The Roddy Piper versus Adrian Adonis, definitely tells a good story, and the ending is pretty great. This match actually was supposed to be Roddy Piper's quote unquote retirement, but really he was just going away for about 2 years to do some movies and try something else. He ended up coming back at WrestleMania 5, but this match is really good. The Hart Foundation against the Bulldogs. That's a really good match. I like that. Um, and then of course everybody remembers this match, one of the best ever. Macho Man versus Ricky the Dragon. Absolutely incredible match. No, you're not gonna find any wrestling fan who has something bad to say about this match. But that that's pretty much it. I mean, obviously the uh, the biggest what everyone excuse me what everyone came to the show to see was Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. That match was okay. I mean, obviously, you're not gonna nobody's gonna expect that match to be very good as far as wrestling, but that match was not for wrestling. Mat wrestling. That match was just all spectacle, all show, and um, it did what it had to do. It got Hogan over like $1 million. He slammed Andre, and they still talk about it to this day. So, yeah, I highly recommend WrestleMania 3. Okay, so my second pick for good pay per views to watch is the Great American Bash 1990. Um, the show is very good. It's kind of one of those old WCW shows that you don't really like. You kind of just you might see it and think, oh well, it's probably just another old crappy show. Um, but this was at a time when WCW was going through. It was very early years of WCW, and if you watch WCW way back in these days, it wasn't like the same as later on in the '90s. So, but this show is very good. I like it. I always watch it. The crowd is good. It's got a lot of like kind of all like matches that are kind of with some people that you might not know, but the show is really good. Actually, if you look right here, there is a very young Undertaker before he was the Undertaker with Paul Heyman. So that's pretty cool. Um, but yeah, just a really good show. A lot of good matches. The crowd's into it. Good commentary. Um, just a really good show. Sting. This pay per view was the first time Sting won the world title. So important to note that. That was a big match, great match. But I actually just watched this the other day. I always watch it. I've watched it before, but this show is very good. I'd highly recommend it. I'm just kind of flipping through the matches so you guys can see. Um, but yeah, just another great classic and definitely worth checking this one out. One of my favorites. All right, so my third pick is Slamboree '94. This one was really good. It was in Philadelphia, so pretty wild crowd. Always makes for a better show. But what was cool about this show was they called it a Legends reunion. They did that for Slamboree '93 and '94. Basically, it was just like a lot of the old school wrestlers would come back and just kind of participate in the show, and um, that was really cool. But yeah, this whole show is really good. The crowd is insane, so it really makes for a great show when the crowd is good. But there are two matches in this show that stand out to me. First one right here, Tully Blanchard versus Terry Funk. That match is it's good, but it's crazy. It's like they both just beat the crap out of each other, but in like a really funny way, if that makes sense. Not like a comedic way, but like a wow, that's awesome kind of way. You'd have to watch it. But I remember at the end of that match, Terry Funk goes in the front row, and he grabs some guy's hat and just puts it on, and then goes back over the railing in front of the ring and elbow drops the guy's hat. It's great. And the other match that is great is I'll tell you right now is where is it? Yeah, right here. Nasty Boys versus Cactus Jack and excuse me, Kevin Sullivan. I swear you will not find a more entertaining match than this. It is they call it a Broad Street Bully match, which correlates to this guy right here. He was a hockey player, and he was the guest referee. And they called it that for like a hockey reference, but it's just a street fight, a no disqualification match really. But these guys beat the crap out of each other with all kinds of stuff. I mean, tables, hockey sticks, fire extinguishers, trash can lids, anything you can imagine. And there's so much going on in this match. I mean, it's great. It is just you're gonna have such a good time watching this match. And I mean, from start to finish, it's just boom, boom, boom. I mean, these guys just go right at it, and I mean, it's so entertaining to watch, and the crowd's so into it, and highly recommend watching that match. The whole show is good, but this match is stands out. I mean, it's great. I show all my friends this match, and they think it's awesome. But the whole show is really good. I mean, just a good crowd. Another classic show. So definitely recommend watching this one. All right, we are still here on WCW. No surprise. They had a much better product in the '90s, but my fourth pick is Bash at the Beach '96, which for most people, obviously, is when the NWO formed, which mainly is the reason I think everyone should watch this show because if you haven't seen that happen, it really is one of the biggest moments in wrestling history, and WCW made it. They played it out so good. I mean, that's kind of the thing. Like it's not so much that the matches on this show are that great, but it's more the fact that WCW made the whole show seem like it was on edge because they didn't know who was going to join the NWO. Um, and they just made everything seem so serious and so real, and it was just that really is kind of what makes this whole show good. I mean, the matches are okay. I'm not saying that they're bad, but like right here, this interview in particular with me and Gene, they make it seem so real and so serious. Like the cops are guarding the door and they don't know who's inside, and they just really do a good job at making it seem like just so real, and you don't see that in wrestling anymore at all. I mean, anything that happens that they try and make seem real, it just doesn't happen. The internet ruins it. Social media ruins it. Obviously, in 1996, they didn't have any of that, so a lot of things were kept a secret. But right here, obviously, just the one of the biggest moments in wrestling, that Hulk Hogan turning bad, and nobody could ever see this coming. And I was too young at the time. I hadn't been watching wrestling yet. I was 3 years old when this happened, so I didn't watch it live. Or I mean, if I did, I don't remember. But I didn't start watching wrestling until about '98. But obviously, as time went on, I did hear about this and went back and watched it. But it was just, the whole show was really based around this happening, and just the way that they really play everything out, the way they make everything seem so real, was really what made this show really good. So highly recommend watching it. It's again, another classic, and yeah, one of my favorites. Okay, I'll throw WWE a bone just because it's the last one, but the last pick that I have is obviously one of, or if not the best WrestleMania of all time, WrestleMania 17 from April 1st, 2001. This whole show, I remember I watched this over my friend's house, and we were so excited for this whole show. I mean, the whole entire show pretty much was flawless. I mean, the way that everything was done, it was so hyped up. It was just it was really good. It was very, very good. And well, I don't think we'll ever see a WrestleMania this good ever again. I don't care how many NXT people they have, how many of these new indie people they have. It's never going to match up. But the reason that this WrestleMania was so big was because WCW and ECW had just went out of business about 2 months before this happened. So you had all three companies kind of just up in the air, or two, I should say, but Um, it was a big thing because WCW was gone, and it just made this huge. It just made kind of WrestleMania just seem that much more big. But I'll tell you, it's a long show, start to finish. It's all very good. It's this one's in Texas, so the crowd is pretty hyped. This match, I will say, is probably one of the funniest matches I've ever seen, and I mean that in a good way. It's so like you just gotta watch it. The stuff that happens, you're gonna laugh, but it's really it's not like in a pathetic way. It's in a good way. That's the thing about wrestling back then is now when they do something, most of the guys who if you watch Raw or SmackDown or even one of the horrible pay-per-views I just watched tonight, you'll look at something and laugh and just be like, "Wow, that's so bad." Like, but not in a good way. But this, like, you'll watch a match with Raven, Kane, and the Big Show for the hardcore title, and you'll laugh like in a good way, and it'll be like just one of those things that you want to watch it again. Um, but most of these matches are all pretty good. They all have good outcomes. Nothing, you don't watch it and be like, oh wow, that's so stupid, or why did they do that? Yeah, that was funny too. I remember watching that. This whole show really was very good. Everything that was supposed to happen happened. Everything was done right. That's a good match too. Shane versus Vince. That's a great match. The whole show was just really good. Right here, I will say the TLC match, one of the best I've ever seen. That match I highly, highly recommend watching that match. Um, that's a great match. But the whole show is just really good. Even the gimmick battle royal has its moments. I mean, it did its job. A lot of the legends came back and got their kind of final glory. That was great. I didn't have any issues with that. Triple H and The Undertaker, great match. I think they go all the way out to the crowd and like near the camera area at one point. And Austin and Rock can't really beat that. That match was really good. This match was when Stone Cold turned as a bad guy for the first time since 96 or 97. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, this whole show was really great. The best WrestleMania, I think. A lot of people will agree. So yeah, guys, those are my top 5 picks for the pay-per-views to watch on the network. Hope you all get a chance to watch them, and I will catch you on the next one.